Hey guys, this is Noah with Ask4Noah Property Solutions. I'm here with Michael with the Michael Warda team of Remax Cornerstone. Today, we're here with Gilson. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Adam Gilson. I'm the owner and head strength coach here at Gilson Strength Conditioning. It's a performance training facility located here in Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. So you guys know that we're doubling down on SBS, Small Business Saturdays. We want to collaborate over competition. So we're super excited to get to know Adam and dive into his business a little bit. So why don't you start off by telling us your background, where you're from, where you grew up, and how you got here.
All right. So I grew up here in Lebanon. I went to Cedar Crest. I grew up on the north side of Lebanon here. I was a 2014 graduate of Cedar Crest. I have a football and wrestling background. Really fell in love with strength training at an early age of 14. With my wrestling background, I was able to continue my education for a little bit at Shippensburg University. Ultimately, just wanted a better opportunity in something else. I was looking for that fresh start. So I found a school in South Florida called Florida Atlantic University, where I had a degree in exercise science and health promotion, and I graduated in 2019. I think moving down there was a big, it was a big turning point in my career. It exposed me to, higher performance training, and I worked with youth to high school to collegiate, and then worked with the professional sector for quite some time. So I think making that move was a, big, advancement in my career.
Yeah, no, I know Florida's huge for, strength conditioning, just athleticism in general. Like, you know what I mean? So it's cool that you got to step out of Lebanon, went down to Florida, opened your eyes and whatnot, and to then come back and say, hey, like there's a gap, there's a void. You know what I mean? That's awesome, because Lebanon we travel a lot, and we always like to check new stuff out, and it's always cool to I know how I think of when I see something like, man, we don't have that back home, why not, So, but we do know too, it is always hard to be the first, you know what I mean? So you graduated, so you were at Shippensburg, ended up in Florida, got that degree, and then did you stay down there and work down there for a little bit?
Yeah, after I graduated, I stayed down there for about a year. Again, I graduated in 2019, but then, as we all know, in 2020, COVID came around, so that put a little stop to the whole fitness industry in general.
Yeah.
I just moved back when COVID started, so again, even in this area, before or after COVID, regardless, there was just limited personal training or strength coach opportunities here with the little gyms that we have. I guess just a little backstory. Even before I went to Shippensburg, I started, lifting at 14, really to kind of make myself better at sports. But when I was 17, my senior year, at the Lebanon County Career and Technology Center here, they had a first-year program called Sports Therapy Sciences.
Really?
Yeah, so they
I was unaware of that. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm an electrician, so I knew about Votech.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they had that program.
Yeah, so it got started in 2014. That was the very first year. That's actually where I got my start. I became a certified personal trainer from that program.
Very cool. That's awesome.
That's really what I kind of had, but then again, with the limited opportunities here, I just wasn't able to get a job and really get started. So, I had that certification and a little experience before I moved down to Florida.
Fantastic.
As soon as I moved down there, got started with school and classes, but then I started working at some local health clubs as just a personal trainer.
Right.
So I kept doing that while I was in school, just kind of gaining that little experience.
Yeah.
While I was learning about it.
No, that's cool. I'm curious if Votech still has that, or do you?
Yeah. Yeah, they still have it. It's actually coming up on they just finished their 10th year of the program.
That's awesome. Wow. So, shout out to the young kids out there that are in the Lebanon County School District. Check that out if you're interested in something like that, because I was unaware of that.
Yeah, it's a good program for, again, personal training you can get out of it. If you want to, pursue a degree in exercise science like I have.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're interested in physical therapy, occupational therapy, it gives you a good, medical and exercise foundation.
Gives you kind of a full scope, general scope, just to kind of get you.
Absolutely. Yeah, even if you want to do massage therapy or anything like that, give you a good, athletic training is another big area that it helps you with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, COVID came back. COVID, we all know COVID affected everybody.
Kind of stopped all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it shut down, the world, and it affected a lot of businesses. At that time when you came back, did you come back previous to COVID, or while COVID was happening?
It was honestly, it was meant to be. I came back the week it started. Yep.
Dang.
So
Welcome back.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Came back the week it started.
Because it was like March 13th or something like that was like
Yep.
the official date
I
of it.
think I left March 11th of 2020.
That's wild.
Yep. And in Florida, again, they were just a little bit more behind on it than I would say Pennsylvania was. So
Yeah.
No,
by
yeah,
the time I
yep.
got back, it was already, everything was in effect with the shutdown.
Yep.
But then probably the week after, everything started in Florida as well.
Wow.
So I think it was meant to be.
Okay.
Obviously, here we are now.
Yeah, for sure.
But I definitely had to do some odd end things while the fitness industry was shut down.
I was gonna say, yeah, like jump into that of like, COVID happens, what was your mindset to bring you up here? Like, were you coming up to specifically to like bring that knowledge and experience up into Lebanon?
I would say that was the ultimate goal. I actually had a home gym in my dad's basement for a while.
Okay.
I was just working out myself with some buddies,
Yeah.
and then trying to get some clients. Obviously, that's a little tricky to do. But I completely stepped away from the fitness industry for about 2 years.
Okay.
I was a FedEx delivery driver for a good bit of time.
Nice,
here.
bro.
Yeah. So
you got to be physically fit for that, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah,
it was
man.
quite
I was gonna say, dude, if
he
you're
check- he
delivering,
checks off that box,
yeah,
bro. I think he's all right.
You can't just like I know some guys that are FedEx drivers, and
Yeah.
man, they're in like
They're
and they're
hustling.
old. You know what I mean? They're in their like 40s, 50s, and they're in phenomenal shape,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah,
So
It puts a lot of wear and tear on the body
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So, again, when I came back with COVID, I had the vision of doing something like this, bringing that, that performance-style training here to, Lebanon specifically. But it just wasn't the right time. So I just grinded being a delivery driver and, ultimately just got fed up with it. And
yeah,
I always had this dream of doing this, and I felt like it was the right time. So,
Sounds
that fast
familiar.
forward
Yeah, bro.
to March of 2022 is when I opened the 800 square foot
no, we're
space
very
over at
familiar
Gilson.
with that
Yeah.
style of story, man. We both, especially Mike, with
I kind of brought it to you guys. And
yeah,
I was like, hey, I'm fed up. I don't want to go to work today. What should I do?
yeah, man.
And then him and Skylar said, hey, you should just quit and just focus on real estate.
Yeah, you were at
Love it.
PetSmart doing the week.
I was at PetSmart. I was working at the warehouse.
Full
and
time.
then, I was starting to notice, okay, I'm losing money because I can't work in real estate because I'm here. So that was kind of the pivotal moment of I got to go all in into my business.
And it's a chicken or the egg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, for me, like and everybody knows is like I got fired from Hershey Park, but I had signs for months prior. Like I'll never forget that winter prior. So 17 going into 18, my foreman, because we got split up to work on sections of the park. You know what I mean? We had a foreman or whatnot, and he was from the electrical field. So like that was, he was actually in commercial and other stuff where I told you most of the guys didn't even have any electrical background.
Yeah.
So he was a hard ass worker, like all this other stuff, and I'll never forget. We're in one of the transformer rooms. I forget. We had a shutdown on the ride to work on something that day, and I was just like, bitching a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, pay was great, and there are a group of guys that were cool, but like I just was just like, man, I'm fed up. And he just was straight up like, quit. And I'm like, bro, I can't. I can't. Like, I got the bills. It pays well. Like, he's like, if you don't quit, you're gonna be miserable, which then makes my job shittier. And I was like, yeah, and that will sit with me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so similar
That resonated
situation.
with you.
And now with your story, bro, if it, like it just there's a breaking point where it's like, F it. You know what I mean? Like, risk it for the biscuit and just roll with it.
Yeah.
So 2020, you got the FedEx job, which again, honestly, that was probably a good job to have during COVID, just
was,
because
yeah.
the
Super
boom
busy
of
time.
of
Oh, yeah.
e-commerce.
Absolutely.
So 2 years later, you said, right?
Yep.
2022.
Yep.
Give
ended up
us
leaving.
that story.
Yeah, so I was still delivering. I ultimately just went home every day frustrated, and I'm somebody that really wants to find their purpose. I think purpose is the biggest thing. I mean, yeah, you can go to work for a paycheck and money, but
Yeah.
I think there's a bigger
There's deeper
reason to it. Absolutely, So finding my purpose. So I just got fed up. Every day I'd go home, kind of just discouraged about the job. I just want to do something else. So I ended up putting my 2 weeks in, and I'd saved up some money. I was planning for this. That was in January
Of 2022.
Yep, January
Gotcha.
2022. I ended up only opening my doors on March 1st of 2022. So
That's
I had
still a
little
fast turnaround, man.
is a
When you
fast
think
turnaround.
about it.
Yeah, so it was. We scrapped it together. We made it work. Again, it was a fraction of the size of this space.
Yeah.
Again,
I remember.
800 square foot.
I went to
so-
visit you.
Yeah. So I had a lot of equipment already from the home gym. First it was in my dad's basement here in Lebanon. When I was delivering, I moved up to Middletown, and we had a nice garage there. So I put all the gym equipment in there.
Nice.
So I've just been slowly acquiring this stuff for a bunch of years now because, again, I always had this end goal vision. I was always purchasing equipment. I was making an investment in myself, investment in the business, investment in the future. So we scrapped it together there in March 1st. I had the doors open.
So March 1st, 2022.
Yep.
So that was over on Tuck Street, right?
Yep,
Gotcha.
It was over on Tuck Street there.
How big was that? What was the square foot?
800 square foot. I would say the floor space at the gym was probably 600 at a 200 square foot office. It used to be like an MRI room. It really wasn't conducive to a gym facility.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what you can make work when you're passionate about.
No,
something.
100%.
And, Yeah, so at that space, I was just doing, personal training, working with, youth all the way to, the senior population. But I knew my main focus was working with athletes, This is what I enjoy doing. It's what I got experience with in Florida. I do have a certification. It's called the CSCS, Certified Strength Conditioning Specialist.
Okay.
That allows you to work with the youth all the way to the professional type population.
Wow.
So in there for about 2 years. I think about a year in, again, I was training everybody at the start, just trying to get my business up and going.
Nah, definitely.
But ultimately I pivoted. I've pivoted many times in this in 2 years. And it's very important to be able to pivot. I think we all know that.
Adapt, and adjust.
But somebody gave me some good advice, and work with, the population you want to work with. So that was athletes, and specifically here in this area, there's not many people working with youth and high school athletes and some college athletes. There's not. So, I was working with everybody. I decided, I'm just going to work with, youth and high school athletes. So started this program called the Long-Term Athlete Development Program.
Okay.
It's really for, ages 8 to 18 years old. Some college kids can join that as well. But it's called the Long-Term Athlete Development Program because we're trying to, develop these athletes long-term. By doing sport-specific movements and ultimately train them to become better athletes.
Awesome.
Which in turn is going to make them better.
I'll have to get with you, man, because I was just talking to my son, because I was telling you about Coach Watt. Shout out to Coach Watt at Lebanon, strength conditioning coach. This summer, so my son pivoted. He tried all the sports. You know what I mean? And I think he's found his. When you see it in their eyes. I was a basketball guy, so he played basketball and he likes basketball. Tried baseball, you know what I mean, the typical, but soccer and volleyball, man. So, and I can see it, and he's out in the yard every day, practicing and stuff like that.
We were doing it the other day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, once I saw that, it was like, it clicked. It's like, man, I need to now, it's the time to invest in, because, up until 12, they try all these different sports and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, there's some crazy athletes out there that are 4, 5, 6. I'm watching 4-year-olds, man, playing basketball. I'm like, dude, what the world? But I think like the 12-year age mark is really where they finally it clicks of this is what I want to do. This is the main sport I want to play. So I'll definitely have to get with you about that because I just told him I was like, I want to start investing this summer in some training because he's a big boy. You know what I mean? He's 11. He's 5'4", buck 35. So he's trying to figure out the body movement. So that probably. Definitely. And anybody else out there, and I'll put the word out, with the coaching and stuff, and he has young ones. So we do need that, man. And I think that's going to be huge for our community, for the kids, especially their generation of being active. These kids, man, it's not like when I was a kid, man. You go to any playground and there's 60 people there. Now you have to. You drive by and you see 2 people and some kid throwing a rock or something. Like that.
Yeah, it's hard with all the screen time.
Yeah. So with that, 2022 opened up. You said in the first year you were just basically grinding.
Yep.
Anybody comes through that door, I got you.
Pretty much.
And then, so you would say the beginning of 2023 is where you started pivoting into more specialized for athletes and stuff like that?
Ended up, I hired a business coach, found somebody online.
That's awesome, man.
I had a good experience with it, but that was the one thing he said. It was something about this 80-20 rule. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it right, but he said, what makes 20% of your money spend, or spend 80% of your time on that, right? And that's that 20% is the target audience you really want to work with. Which makes your job more enjoyable. I get more satisfaction out of training clients, specifically the youth athletes, and working out myself.
And
it's great.
I was telling Lex people, because I had up to 9 employees at one point, and what I learned from it is people subconsciously will do the things at a very high, potential or whatever when they want to do it. And when they don't subconsciously, because there's a lot of things like in your job that there's always the paperwork or the dealing with the unhappy client or whatever it is, that you don't want to do but you have to do.
Absolutely.
And you always are like pushing that a little bit off to the side. So when you focus, on the when you're training those athletes, man, you're giving, not saying you don't give 100% of everything, but it's not even like it's not like you're putting effort in, man. It's just happening. So so that's awesome, man. And the business coach, that's awesome. We talk about that. I know you've had a coach, right?
I had a coach, and I think was it the second interview I said I wish I did it sooner.
Yeah.
Because it gives you more direction as like, hey, you should focus on this, like an 80-20 rule, for example. You know, if you want this target audience, well, do specific actions that obtains said audience. Because you can, like, we still do this, by the way. We chase our tails around most of the day, right? But, when you act with intention and you have a coach holding you accountable to that, it helps you be more focused with what you want to accomplish.
No, and it's like, I love the shot that we have behind us. You guys see all the
man, it's a nice place.
Beautiful equipment and the facility, and like you were saying how like you knew this was going to be where you wanted to end up, and you've been investing in it over and over. The business coach is just a different type of investment, and I know that's hard as new entrepreneurs and things like that because it's not tangible. You know what I mean? Because it's not it's an intrinsic value. You know what I mean? You can't. It's almost hard to quantify. Like where you buy that equipment, you know that it's $1 for this. Now I know that that maybe I can bring in this client or whatever, and then there's an ROI on it. The business coach, it's hard to put a true dollar-to-dollar value on it. So you got that coach, and they really helped you dive into like pivoting. So 2023, you doubled down on the athletic training and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I just started running groups. I mainly work in the evening hours. Again, the kids are in school during the daytime. So I start at 3 o'clock, and I run back-to-back groups all the way till about 7 or 8 o'clock. So again, the long-term athlete development program, I'm really trying to get athletes to train long-term, but year-round training.
Yeah, I was going to say that's...
So not just in the summer months, right? And even if you're in sports season, I still recommend 1 to 2 days a week. When you get more into the off-season or a little bit more free time in your schedule, 3 to 4 days a week. But the key is training long-term over a year, or, let's take your son, right? You said 11, correct?
Yep.
So imagine by the time he starts at 11, imagine where you can get to by 17, 18 years old, right?
I already know, man.
Dedicating some time and effort, and also
I've already seen a difference in it. You know what I mean?
My biggest thing is trying to get the parents, try to get the kid to realize that they're making an investment in yourself, but you're investing in your future. We all know what a semester of college can cost. Imagine over 4 years. But what if we can, what if we can get you that college scholarship just by dedicating some time?
And it's offset it.
One thing I do notice in this area, and it's just all over, kids are becoming very competitive in their sports. They're playing travel sports, AAU sports, things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And parents are very apt to, spend that money on that. But the biggest thing I think they're missing out on, and especially with some of our elite athletes in this area, is they're not training their bodies properly to prepare themselves for that high level. Therefore, there's going to be some injuries and things like that that come along the way. And I'd say the biggest thing is, and what I do in my business here at Gilson Strength Conditioning is, I bridge the gap between high school sports and college sports. I'm really trying to prepare you for what's going to happen there. As soon as you get on the college campus as a college athlete, you're going to work out with the strength coach. You're going to go to classes during the day, and you're going to do sports practice, and you're going to do your homework later in the day, right? So it's managing that busy schedule, but I think, people putting more focus on the strength conditioning
the preparation.
The preparation, right? We can make a physical difference, instead of maybe just making you a little better at your sport. But if we can make that physical difference enough to make you a well-rounded athlete,
it's a lifestyle.
You're going to be good in whatever
you know what I mean?
You play.
Yep.
Nah, dude, I love that you pointed that out too, because I've talked to my son about that of like, we're headed to a game and he's on his phone or whatever. And there was I think it's I want to say the tight end for the Niners. I read something. McCaffrey, his father was insane on his preparation. Like he wasn't allowed to wear jeans on game day because it made him work harder to walk.
You went to bed at 7 p.m. every night.
During prep rallies, he wasn't allowed to yell because it would strain his voice. And we all think like, man, that's an extreme, but it's preparation though. Those little things over and over and over again, and trying to get an 11-year-old to comprehend it. That's been the hardest, I think, for me personally, and probably with you with kids, man. Is like you're trying to teach them of like building themselves up, and it's an investment. And you can see it in their eyes, like they don't really comprehend it, because it's like, when you're a kid, when you're young, man, you can bounce back off of anything. But I had injuries in high school. I ruptured, I think it's called a bursa sac. It's between your kneecap, and that was my 10th grade year. And I want to say, man, like that changed a lot for me. Never had a major injury. I was out for 6 to 8 weeks. They moved me up to varsity, which was awesome. I sat, but it was like that. I feel like really hurt my opportunity, because I didn't, when we're up by 20 and there's 2 minutes, I wasn't getting in the game. Yeah. And I feel like I could have been better prepared. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you think of professional athletes, things like that, right? Some of them are losing out on their major money in a contract because of injuries.
Have you noticed it's been I feel like it's been more.
Yeah.
Like I know basketball at least.
With the new generation, man.
Yeah. Well, I know, and I watch basketball, but like the NBA, man, just like seeing these athletes that are out, like they just implemented a rule that you have to hit a minimum requirement of games to be considered for like their awards, which then end up paying them and whatnot. And it's like, that's wild, man. The NBA's been around for how long, and now all of a sudden,
Embiid almost missed out on that, I believe, right?
Well, it definitely affected him because of the knee. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I see a lot of ankle injuries now. Yeah. I feel like that's become really huge. But just in general, I think in all sports, I feel maybe it's because I'm an adult now, but it just feels like as much as these athletes invest in their body, I don't know if it needs to like adapt or start earlier. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of athletes that just were naturally talented.
Yep, exactly. And they're getting all the way through high school, and they're at a sectional, or they're playing at such a high level. But again, they're still, their body's susceptible to injuries.
Yeah, because I look at like Steph Curry. He's had a very healthy career, or even like Jalen Brunson, who unfortunately did just break his wrist. But like those two guys, like there's recordings of them when they're like 8 years old training. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you got other athletes, that I'm not saying LeBron, and LeBron's actually been pretty healthy, but like Kawhi Leonard, he was a naturally like very athletic, and in his career now at the end mark, and as they get over that like 27, 28, 29 mark, they're getting injured. And I'm wondering if it's because like when you're naturally talented, there is kind of maybe a stigma, like, oh, I'm all right, I don't have to do that. Yep. And if you can catch them when they're young, man, that's gonna be like like you said, my son, man, imagine 17 years, 18 years going into college now, and he goes to college and they start a training program. He's like, yeah, I've been doing this. Yeah, I did this my freshman year.
He's just gonna keep excelling through the program.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. Have you, that program? Have you connected with like the Lebanon County schools and whatnot?
Yeah. So.
And how does that look because of them being, every school is competitive against each other. They want to have a competitive edge.
Absolutely. So I do some team training and stuff like that as well. Last summer I did work with Cedar Crest football team. So
nice.
Went in-house.
And they kicked ass this year, by the way.
They did good. They won 3 and lost their first playoff game.
Yeah, man.
Wow. It was a great season for them. But yeah, went in, trained them 3-4 days a week. Really worked on some, something with my program. We're training for power. We're training for performance, strength. But one of the biggest things that you're going to get out of the program is the injury prevention component, right?
Which is huge.
We're doing those little things that are going to work these, weaker muscles that actually are overused. Such as your groin. Your rotator cuff muscles. In your shoulder.
We all know that.
Little things like that. We start with that, and that's what we build our program around.
Awesome.
But yeah, working those little things. Something good the county is doing is they're really starting to see the benefit from strength conditioning. So some of the PE departments are shifting now.
Yeah.
They're doing it internal. I know Cedar Crest does that with Coach Dresch.
Yeah.
So again, the kids during the daytime in their schedule from 7 to 2:30, they're getting into workout during the school day.
No, not to what I was saying before. Is like Coach Watt, you know what I mean, with the new facility, man, like that's.
So they're starting to realize the importance of it.
Yes.
For their athletics.
It's only taken them 100 years, you know what I mean? And like you said, like someone mentioned today, actually, a realtor came in, we were chatting, and they said how like this ain't a shot, but Lebanon County's always been behind, and I say Pennsylvania in general too, of like when you went down south and what you've experienced and seeing just how many athletes come out of other states and everything else like that, and it's like I'm hoping they're realizing so they can bridge that gap and give these kids opportunity, because the percentage to go professional is insanely low, but the benefit from it is life changing. You know what I mean? I've seen it for athletes and kids and stuff like that. I have friends that went to college and it covered their college. They couldn't cover college. Like if they didn't have that, if they didn't get the scholarship, they weren't going to college. You know what I mean? So they could have had a whole completely different life. So that's cool that you see that and you're incorporating that and showing them like, hey, like we're gonna get you to that next level, and that's gonna change your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we can't guarantee it, but
no. But you're setting them up for.
You get what you put into, or what you get into is what you put, or other way around.
Yeah.
But,
I get it.
Yeah. You put it in, you get it out.
Yes,
Input,
exactly,
output.
Right?
Yep.
So your commitment level is the most important thing.
Awesome.
Yep.
So how does that? You brought up about parents and stuff like that. Because I know personally from coaching basketball, the parent scene has been tough. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, man, an 8, 9, 10-year-old, as much as you can get frustrated with them, a lot of it does come back from that. So how do you work through that with parents and stuff like that, and sell, like it's almost like a sale. Like how do you sell them to commit that their child's an investment for themselves and for the child?
I'd say the biggest thing I start with is just educating them on what we do here at the facility, what the difference between a strength coach and a personal trainer is. I would say that right there is one of the biggest things.
Can you give us like a 30-second breakdown of the difference?
Personal trainer, you can get a certification in a weekend, right? You guys could become personal trainers if you wanted to. Maybe a couple months, maybe the weekend's a little dramatic there, but you really can become fast as long as you pass the test, right? But they're getting no experience. Whereas a strength conditioning coach having that CSCS certification, again, that allows you to work at the collegiate level, professional level, where a personal trainer really wouldn't get in there, I would say.
So personal trainers, that's a cert, and what you have, you got your degree.
Yep. So
plus
it's a degree,
then,
right? So I'm learning, throughout the 4 years.
Yep.
And you have to have the degree to be able to sit and take the exam.
I was gonna say, and then move on and continue education and stuff like that. So that's.
I would say, it provides a good foundation. It's still not enough though. Right?
Yeah.
It's all about the experience. We hear about that all the time, right?
Because you actually you said you got certified at 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what?
17.
Yeah, 17 in school or whatnot.
On,
so.
Right? So I had some experience. I was already working with general clients, but it's a science and it gets very advanced. What they're doing. Especially with new technology.
I was gonna say, man.
They're incorporating. Things like velocity-based training. We do some things in here where we're testing their vertical jump. We're always taking data, but I would say that data integration and the technology.
Not data,
is where,
man. Big
where,
on data.
The field of strength conditioning is going. Where again, personal trainers who are working with everybody, they're not going to quite get into that in-depth stuff.
Yeah, numbers tell stories, man.
Absolutely. So that's one thing we really do here. As a parent, how do we know what the say you've been training for 3 months, 6 months, a year with me. How do you know what's other than the physical changes, which sometimes you're not going to see that. Again, it takes probably 6 months to really see a difference in your body.
Time.
But we just rely on the numbers, right? So we do vertical jump testing, broad jump testing. We do an approach vertical jump where you're kind of running and jumping like you do a dunk on a basketball. A bunch of different tests like that and speed.
Maybe I should hire you to. I want to be able to dunk, man.
So
I can dunk on this guy.
We could do a little test run after here. We'll have
man, dude.
We should test your verticals.
There we go. All right, we'll do it. We'll do
that after.
Just click on that
We'll definitely get that. We'll get it on video too.
Oh, gosh.
So
good warm up is needed.
2023, man, this guy. My knees feel great, bro. I just balled 2 nights ago. Last night.
I feel a little rusty.
I feel
so
good,
I don't
man.
know, but we'll try.
2023, you pivoted. So that led you to this year.
Yep.
And you said how long have you been here now?
March 1st, I opened up in here. So
that's wild. March 1st of 2020.
Yep. So it was exactly
2022.
2 years. So
Dang.
As soon as that lease ended, I just moved right over here. So I got access to this probably back at the beginning of February. So for a whole month, we were really working on everything.
Getting it prepared. So you came in. You were at Tuck Street.
Yep.
800 square foot, 600 only that was capable, usable. In 2022 of March 1st.
Yep.
Exactly 2 years later, you've now upgraded and grown to, how large is this facility?
3,600 square feet.
3,600 square feet.
So it gives us more opportunities. So, at the old space, it was small.
That's a little over 4 times you grew, bro.
It's about 4 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
You quadrupled in 2 years, man. That's awesome.
And this allows me, again, the more flexibility. We have regular gym memberships now.
Yep.
But our main focus of this facility, again, is the athlete training groups, which are in the evening hours. But it's open 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
That's awesome.
You just got to make an appointment to get signed up, but you just scan in at the door, come in. You can use all the space yourself. So at the old place, again, it was just so tight. There was no other opportunities for, extra income in there.
Yeah.
It was just, training clients, and we were even limited with how many people could train.
I was gonna say, basically it was like one-on-one.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I still started my classes when I pivoted back in March of 2023, just working with the athletes, so we could probably fit about 6 to 8 at a time in there.
Okay.
But again, we were very crowded. I only had 2 racks. Now I have 3 racks.
As you guys can
two
see
of them
back here.
double-sided.
Yeah.
So it gives us 5 stations. Much more floor space.
And we'll get a panorama
and
of
another
the facility.
thing, just to put into perspective, I was here doing the Murph when you hosted it. How many people were there in the facility during that time? Do you recall?
The day that came on the Murph? Probably about 15.
And it was comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Very,
Everybody
very
had their own pull-up bar station.
Yeah.
There's probably about 7 pull-up bar stations in here.
And what's the Murph again? Let everybody explain the
So,
Murph.
I'll let him do it.
1 mile run.
Okay.
And we came back inside. We did 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 just body weight squats, and then you had to finish it off with another mile.
Dang, man,
Yeah,
that's
man.
wild.
Tell him I finished it, bro. You don't believe me.
Yeah, Mike finished.
I didn't.
quite well.
I never questioned it, man. You said you did
We
it
have
2
the
years in a
picture
row
proof.
now. I
did.
Yeah. So
Now, we did a little more modified version, but
Yeah.
we'll
Yes, we
take
did.
it.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
I mean, without having the weight vest on, you're technically doing a little bit modified. But
Nah, bro. But
it was challenging. I myself, that was my first time ever doing it, and it was brutal.
It was brutal.
It is quite an accomplishment to finish it.
Yeah.
That's
the
awesome,
first time
man.
is very
Yeah.
challenging. Like this year, I did it way better. But regardless, it's still very challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
that's awesome, man. So 2 years, quadrupled.
Yep.
We got the backstory. We got the journey. What's the future look like? Give us some of the 5-year, 10-year, what you see this becoming, and what you believe it's going to become.
Yeah, so I definitely want to stay in this space for a while here. This might not be my permanent end goal space, but it definitely allows me to be comfortable for a while.
Yeah.
Like I said, I added the additional stream of income, with the monthly gym memberships.
Yeah.
Which again, that's kind of the extra income where the training is my main focus here with the athletes.
Yep.
But with the gym memberships, I'm gonna cap it at 100 gym members. So the first 100 people to take advantage of the opportunity,
Awesome.
will have a membership. But after that,
And they can check that out on your website.
Yep, you can check it out on my website. I recommend just scheduling a quick little 15-minute appointment here. Again, the door is always locked. Again, you need to get that key fob, and you have to set up an appointment to sign
Awesome.
up.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's big. But I see my athlete group growing. I want to work with more athletes in our county here. Branching out further into Palmyra, Northern Lebanon, Elko, other schools like that. And just keep growing that. But I'd say the biggest thing I see myself doing is eventually delegating, some tasks. I'm looking to hire an additional strength coach that, again, can, is well trained and can run my program. Ultimately.
Yeah.
Because we have established a system here. We just need somebody to run it, which therefore that would, allow me to do other things.
Yep.
And, maybe get into some additional business avenues and,
Very
things
cool.
like that.
Awesome. Can you give them a little maybe like a price range for a single athlete and give an idea what it would cost? Is that like?
Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll just go through the whole kind of pricing model.
Perfect.
So if you wanted to be a regular gym member, it's $50 a month. You get a key fob there. It's you get access 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Which are great hours, by the way.
Yep. Never.
Especially since COVID, man.
Yep.
You should be able to get in.
Yeah.
You'll always be able to get in. It's open every holiday.
Awesome.
Little things like that. Again, it's just open.
That's
to
big,
5,
man.
though.
That's big.
Yep, and we're open on Sundays. Every day of the week. And I do offer family plans as well. So if there's 2 people in a membership, 3 or 4, vice versa.
Awesome.
There's a one-time sign-up fee with that. Another avenue is you could just get a regular gym membership, but maybe you don't feel comfortable. Because it's completely different than like a commercial gym that most people would be used to. So I do offer a membership with custom programming, so you can get a monthly program custom designed by me.
That's awesome.
So send that to you monthly. You'll be able to do it on your own. If you have any questions, I can do that. And then I do offer private coaching as well. That would be more my one-on-one model again with athletes. Just limited on time to do that, but that is an avenue if you're interested. And then my main group is the long-term athlete development program. So I do a 3, 6, and 12-month commitment term. All right, that allows you to come up to 4 days a week. Mondays, Tuesdays we do full body strength training. Wednesdays we do a full speed day. Thursday, Friday full body strength training. So it allows you to come up to 4 days a week. The 3-month option is $300 a month.
That's not bad at all. That's a really great price.
The 6-month option is $275 a month, and if you commit for a whole year, you can get it for $250.
Wow.
That allows you to get a gym membership as well. So
yeah.
They can come. You get a fob though, but you can come on like Saturday and Sunday. We're not running group, and just use the space, get some extra work in.
That's awesome.
And then with the extra space on the other side of the net here, which I call the recreational space, you can practice your sport and get a workout in.
Yeah.
All in one.
Awesome. And they can check that out. What's your website?
Yep. GilsonStrengthCo.com.
Awesome. So you told us where you started all the way back in high school, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? At 14 and then 17 getting certified. You went to college, got the degree, got some experience outside of Lebanon County, which is awesome to bring back to the county. COVID, as for all of us, put a hurdle, you know what I mean? But you, as being a strength and conditioning coach, all knows how hurdles are and getting over them. Started at Tuck Street in 2022. 2 years later, quadrupled. And then you diving into the niche with the youth sports and everything else like that, athletes. It's fantastic of what you're doing here, man, and we appreciate you coming on here. We always do. They know we always do a giveaway. You have to like and follow both the business pages. And what's your Facebook page?
Gilson Strength Conditioning.
All right, so you'll like both the business pages. You'll follow both the business pages. Then you need to like and share the post and tag 3 people on the original post. And why don't you tell them what they could potentially win?
Yeah, so the giveaway for GSC is going to be 1 month of a free gym membership. No sign-up fee required.
Oh, that's huge, man.
That's huge.
Pretty much
Yeah.
Started.
Oh, I'm gonna
sign up for that.
I want to win that. Nah, so we thank you for allowing us. SBS is all community. It's about bringing all of the local businesses together that can help us grow and stuff like that, because it's collaboration over competition. That's like the slogan, and just continue to grow Lebanon, on what we believe it can be. So thank you for getting on here and telling your journey, and also too for allowing us to experience the facility. So again, guys, like both the business pages, follow both the business pages, share the post, like the post, and then comment 3 people on the post, and you can win a 1-month free gym membership, no fees. So again, thanks, brother.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Till next time.